Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you so very much for joining. So, in the last class, we discussed about firewall policies. So, in the firewall policies, I have shown practically also before creating firewall policy or rule. First, what we have to do, we have to go and we have to create security profile, and after that, we have to go and we have to create a policy based on the our business requirement. So, that business requirement, we have to go and we have to gather the by contacting the multiple stakeholders. So then finally we have to go and we have to create all these security policies in the firewall side. Now, whatever implicitly DNA by default policy it is existing, you can move that one from the top to bottom. And whatever main policy you want to hit that particular condition or logic, so you can go and make it like ascending order. Now, firewall validation, as I said yesterday itself, it follow top to bottom approach or top down approach. So next topic is high availability. So high availability in the firewall side, it's a very mandatory, even maybe on the EDR side or DLP side or web application firewall side, maybe it is required or maybe it is not required, but in the firewalls, it's a mandate and must. Why? Because most of the attacks will come through the internet facing through perimeter. So that is the reason compulsory we have to maintain the high availability. In case the primary firewall is going down, secondary firewall will come as a primary, and it will continue the operations related to business, and there is no business impact or outage. What is high availability first, and what is firewall high availability conditions we have to maintain, and which firewall it will act as a primary and which firewall it will act as a secondary? Those things we are going to discuss now. Maybe once this topic is completed, then I can go and I can start about firewall upgrade. So that topic is completed, then I can go and I can discuss about VPN concept. So once these three concepts are completed, then completely firewall topic is completed. So that's all for today agenda. Let's see how far we will go and we will reach. What is high availability now? So maintaining two similar devices with equal model, number, and also configurations is called high availability. Then why we have to maintain the high availability? High availability, HA means high availability. It will provide in case the primary device will go down and the secondary device will act as a primary device within the fraction of seconds by using automatic condition. So that condition is called as logical monitoring and also physical monitoring using hello messages and also using logical monitoring and also physical monitoring. What is meant by logical monitoring and physical monitoring? I'll explain in the couple of minutes. So two similar device model numbers and also two devices, we should maintain the same configuration. That is called as basically high availability. So this high availability, why we have to use, what is the importance of the high availability? In case the primary firewall is going down, secondary firewall, it will act as a primary. Then finally, in case same time, maybe attack is trying to do the hacking side, our secondary firewall, whatever it is becoming as a primary firewall. So based on the policies configured, either it will allow the traffic or block the traffic or alert the traffic. So that is the reason to mitigate or to prevent, to detect, to identify, to alert. So all the category of the attacks to make sure that 99.99% should be available. So then we have to maintain the high availability. So now what are the high availability conditions in the firewall side? What we have to make sure that we can go and we can maintain the high availability. So before going to high availability conditions, now each and every vendor, this terminology it will change. High availability names, high availability names, vendor to vendor, this terminology will change. So couple of vendors, they will call it as a primary and secondary. So nothing but primary and So backup. So same thing, primary and backup. So we have another one also, active, passive, and also finally master and slave. So these are all the different types of terminology we can use. So, but according to the vendor to vendor, this terminology will change. For example, if are going and if we are discussing about FortiGate, we can say primary and secondary. So if we are going and if we are discussing with our Palo Alto firewall, we will say active, passive. And if we are going and if we are discussing with our Sophos firewall, we can call primary and backup. But all those terminologies are same only. There is no difference. So vendor to vendor, this terminology will change. That's it. Now firewall high availability conditions. How we can make sure that conditions should be same? What are the different conditions we have to follow? There are 3 to 4 conditions are mandatory. First one, firewall, both the firewalls, primary and secondary firewall, model number must be, not maybe, or can be, or should be. It's a must be. Same. So nothing but here, whatever firewall model number, either hardware or virtual or maybe SaaS based firewall we are purchasing, even secondary firewall model number also must be same. For example, maybe you're purchasing FortiGate 1080D. So that is a primary, and secondary firewall maybe so 2000D. So these are the two different types of model numbers. In this scenario, firewall high availability will not work because two different products, maybe firmware, product development, everything is different. Control panel, management plane, data plane, all those things are different. So that is the reason two different model numbers firewall we cannot connect. So first of all, compatibility issues will come. So because secondary firewall here in this scenario, it is 2000D, it's a high-end model. So it's a high configuration will be there, and also product development a little bit high. Speed also will be high, performance will be very high, RAM utilization also very high. All those are completely secondary firewall model number as per 2000D. But as per FortiGate primary firewall 1080D, 1080D as compared to secondary firewall 2000D, it has a data plane, control plane, and management plane related. Configurations are different, and also even RAM and speed and bandwidth, all those are different. So that is the reason two different model numbers of the firewall we cannot make. Okay, so high availability. That is the first condition. So then what is the second condition? Two firewalls must be running on the same OS version or firmware version. So two firewalls must be running on the same firmware version, meaning here. So whatever primary firewall OS version, for example, 7.6. So then secondary firewall version also must be 7.6 only. So for example, FortiGate 1080D, it is active. In the similar way, FortiGate 1080D, it is a passive, consider. So both are, it is a primary and this one is secondary. Now primary firewall example, it is running on 7.6 as per yesterday I have shown one of the tool related to virtual firewall from Fortinet. And maybe secondary firewall, it is running on 7.5 firmware version or OS version. So two are completely different versions. So compatibility mismatch. In case the compatibility mismatch, then firewall high availability will not work. Both the firewall must be running on the same OS version or firmware version. Then only we can maintain the high availability. If two firewalls, first of all, is running on the two different versions, high availability we cannot maintain. Compatibility issues will come. So that is the second condition. Then what is third condition? Whatever licensing we are purchasing, all licensing versions must be same version in the both primary and secondary firewall. So example, we are purchasing license related to antivirus, URL filtering, web application firewall, IDS and IPS, network DLP. So then anti-spam, then also voice over IP call, SSL, inspection, FortiGuard, Forti support. All these are different types of the licensing we have to go and we have to purchase. Now, whatever primary firewall version it is showing as, same thing it has shown in the secondary firewall also. Automatic updates should be taken. These are all called software updates, not OS update. Whatever licensing will purchase, all those are software updates. On top of the hardware device or on top of the, okay, so firewall, we are purchasing couple of additional licensing. Those each and every licensing also we have the agent version or normal version, software version. That is called software. For example, maybe take your mobile itself. So under the mobile, maybe WhatsApp, Instagram, or Facebook, or maybe PhonePe or Google Pay, or Zomato or Uber. Maybe so many applications are using. So your mobile OS upgrade is completely different. So your mobile upgrade is provided by your company, whatever company you purchase the mobile. That may be Apple or Samsung or Redmi and so on. So once you are upgrading your entire mobile OS version or firmware version, mobile restart is a mandatory, because whatever changes you have done, it will applicable to those changes. But on top of that one, you are going to Play Store and you are using a lot of applications, as I mentioned earlier also. Maybe WhatsApp update on top of your physical hardware mobile, you are using and you are deployed a lot of applications belongs to the, so finance based or maybe social networking based or maybe business based. All these are software related services or apps. These apps are different. Same concept you can apply now to firewall. Firewall, it is equivalent to our mobile hardware device. And on top of the whatever applications you are using in your phone, those are like a applications. So those things are equivalent to our licensing purchased. So whatever licensing you purchased, but both the firewalls must be same version. For example, antivirus version may be in the primary firewall is 1.1 and in the secondary firewall it is showing as 1.2. So high availability will not work. Compatibility issues. So even licensing also should be same updates. Both the firewalls, licensing versions must be same. So last condition, sorry. How can we know that? So which firewall it will act as a primary and which firewall it will act as a secondary? So before class has been started, I was drawing one of the diagram in the draw.io. So now I'll open the diagram. So this is the diagram I was drawing. So now you can see here, this is the primary firewall, this is the secondary firewall. So now please remember, as I said, whenever we are discussing about firewall concept, always please remember network architecture diagram in your brain or in your mind. Okay. So now coming back here. So this is the primary firewall. So as per network architecture diagram, one of the connection we have to give to ISP router. One of the connection we have to give to secure web gateway or proxy. One of the connection we have to give to web application firewall. One of the connection we have to give to core switch. One of the connection we have to give to network IDs, network APS. Even one of the connection we have to give to email gateway. Even we have to give to the non-critical servers also. So that is as per the network architecture diagram. Now same thing, whatever connections you are configuring the primary firewall, same configurations we can do in the secondary firewall also. Same connections I have drawn here also. So first I given to secure web gateway or proxy and web application firewall and NADS and APS and core switch and ISP router. Okay. So now if you want to maintain, so this is the primary firewall and this is the secondary firewall. How we will come to know which one it will act as a primary and which one it will act as a secondary? Okay, we are giving the naming convention, that's fine. So naming convention, we are giving host name or management console name. It's a primary and second. That does not mean that, okay, it will go and it will act as a primary. Just you're configuring the host name or management console name for web UI, where you are trying to log in from remote or maybe through CLI. It is not depending on the host name or management console name we have given. So for that one, you have to configure one of the condition in the firewall side. So what is that condition? We can call it the election settings. What is this election settings? Basically, election settings is a number. It will vary from 0 to infinity. So any number you can give. Always primary firewall election setting is greater than secondary firewall. Or always primary firewall election setting. So what are you are defining? Less than the, so greater than the secondary firewall. So for example, you can see here, election setting I given to primary firewall is 100. So what is the condition I said? Always secondary firewall election setting is less than the primary firewall. So now election setting here I given 50. Now based on this score or number or election setting, whatever score will be higher thing is there, that one is called as a primary firewall. Wherever we configured, so election setting or score or number is less than, that one we can call secondary firewall. So this is the way how the each and every firewall we can go and we can configure, and finally we can come to know that which one firewall it will act as a primary and which firewall it will as secondary. If you don't configure the selection settings, obviously firewall will get in confusion state. Which one it will act as a primary and which one will act as secondary. It's a compulsory inter question. How you'll come to know which firewall it is acting as a primary and which firewall it is acting secondary. So what you have to configure? For that one, we have to configure the election settings. But in the FortiGate firewall, I forgot this one is based on the Palo Alto firewall. But FortiGate firewall side, we can call it as a device priority. That's right, device priority. So device priority always primary firewall is higher than the secondary firewall. Okay, so here device priority we're defining the 100, then device priority for secondary firewall we have to give to 50. Okay, so now this is the way how the firewall will be act as a primary, and also it will be act as a secondary or primary or backup or master or slave or active or passive. So that is about the condition part. So based always primary firewall election setting or device priority is greater than secondary firewall. Okay. So in case you are configuring maybe 10,000 primary firewall score or number, sorry, then in that scenario, secondary firewall you can configure as a less than 10,000. Maybe you can give 9,000. That's fine. Okay. So that is about conditions for the high availability. Okay. It's very, very important. Now, so firewall upgrade. How can you do firewall upgrade? So if you want to do firewall upgrade, first and foremost, as per the diagram, you can go and see here. So what is path monitoring and what is logical monitoring and path monitoring I mentioned. What is logical monitoring meaning here? Logical monitoring based on the device priority or based on the election setting. Okay. And also based on the hello message exchanges. So in between the primary and secondary, always it will exchange the hello messages or hi. So what is mean by hello messages or hi exchange messages here? So in between the primary firewall and secondary firewall, logical message it will come as a hi, 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 and response also will come hi. So only once again primary firewall will say hi, then secondary firewalls it will say hi. So this is the way how the firewall messages will be exchanged between the primary and secondary. In case the messages are stopped, then so secondary firewall will think that primary firewall may be down. That is the reason. So messages are stopped in between our logical path or logical way. Now whatever secondary firewall it is showing, then it will act as a primary firewall, automatic up or automatic shutdown, automatic down, sorry, automatic up or automatic down. Okay, so that is called hello or hi, logical way. This is the logical way, exchanging of the hello messages. Then what is the path monitoring? Path mean physical path monitoring. Physical path monitoring meaning here, so wherever we are deploying, is this particular concept is applicable to only physical hardware devices in the data center, on-premise or site. For example, maybe in our data center or on-premise or maybe in the site, we deployed our firewalls and we have to give one of the connection between the primary and secondary firewall interfaces, whatever we configured. I mean, 2 to 3 days back, I have shown one of the firewall PA200 series and PA3050 in the Google. So now one of the connection after configuring the interface HA1 and HA2, we will call it as. So once you are configuring the HA1, that configuration, whatever RJ45 Ethernet link or maybe optical fiber link, you have to give from primary to secondary firewall. You can whatever you are using. If it is a very higher bandwidth, we have to use optical, or maybe if it is less bandwidth, then we have to use RJ45 Ethernet cable. So then in between the primary and secondary firewall, you have to connect one of the connection also. By the way, all these connections are cable connections. It's not whatever logical diagram I have defined here. It's for understanding purpose also. We have to define and we have to configure these things in the virtual way or maybe in the our physical hardware data center also. Okay, so these connections, this is the way how we can go. One of the interfaces we can go and we can insert into the ISP router. Second interface we can go and we can insert into the secure web gateway or proxy. Third interface we have to go and we have to insert into the web application firewall and so on. So path monitoring meaning here, in case whatever RJ45 or Ethernet cable we connected in the data center, whether maybe some loose connection or maybe snakes or rats are coming and they are biting that particular cable connection. Sometimes it will happen if you don't maintain the hygienic way of the data center. Okay, so then finally that particular connection, maybe it will cut out or maybe even lose connection sometimes because of the cable, some of the issues. So connections and data signals and also control signals, it will not happen and it will not extend the communication between the two devices through RJ45 or maybe optical cable. So that is also one of the issue. So that's why we have to monitor the path in between the primary and secondary firewall. So that is called logical monitoring and also path monitoring. Now, so these logical monitoring, whenever it is stopping, that means maybe our firewall went down. Then our backup firewall, it will check why the messages and also path monitoring has issues. Then automatically secondary firewall attacks the primary firewall. So also you have to go and you have to check whenever physical cable related issues. Maybe example, you're working in Wipro and your client is belongs to JP Morgan. In that scenario, you are sitting in the Wipro Hyderabad location, Bangalore location, but your firewall is sitting in the California JP Morgan for suppose. So how, whether you will go and you will travel to America and you will so change that connections? No, you should contact the your client or my field engineer who is taking care of the data center. Ask them to go and see the whatever interfaces are loose connections it is available. So you can see the logical monitoring in the our firewall where you are logging into the firewall site through graphical user interface or web console or user console. So then wherever the red color or ash color it is showing as warning symbols, you can call that customer or client or field engineer, whoever is the point of contact or single point of contact. Inform them. So stating that, so these two places, okay, so loose connections is existing. Please try to so unremove and remove and also once again connect it back. Then field engineer will go and he will take care of the appropriate actions. So this is the way how we can make sure that high availability should be available always 24/7 into 365 days, 99.99999% So because of this high availability, so there is no security incident is getting compromised. So that is the importance of the high availability. It's a very, very important concept in case if you are going for firewall vacancy. So, and yeah, coming back to firewall upgrades. Now, how can you do the firewall upgrades? So now consider example, this is a PA3050 given already model number, and here also PA3050 because both the firewall must be same firmware version and also even licensing version must be same, even model number must be same, or firmware version also must be same. Now, for suppose these firewalls versions are 9.2, current version of the firewall, it's 9.x or 10.x currently, and the secondary firewall also 9.2. Now Palo Alto is released new firmware version that is called 10.0. So now we have to go and we have to upgrade our firewalls because whenever their vendor is trying to do the upgrades, they will add new features. If you want to apply that new features, obviously we have to update our hardware device or maybe we have to update our software device or virtual firewall. Okay, if you don't upgrade, obviously you don't get that features. So that is the reason always whenever vendor is releasing the new firmware or OS version, we have to go and we have to verify whether vendor is released new hardware and new hardware or OS version and try to see that one. And one fine day you can go and you can raise change request and finally you can upgrade the firewall. For that one we have to go and we have to do the couple of things, verification checks. Before going and doing the firewall upgrade, what you have to do? So you have to make sure that so whatever newly released firmware version or OS version, is there any bugs are existing? Because whatever software development life cycle they are doing by the product development team of all these vendors related to firewall side, maybe without checking the proper testing. So what are use cases they are trying to do that with the testing teams. Without testing all those testing related use cases, they will release to the public. Then in that scenario, if you don't verify with the vendor, then finally we will end up with the trouble or issues. Same thing it's happened. When I was working in PDO, Petroleum Development Organization in Muscat, Oman. So what happened is without contacting the vendor, Palo Alto vendor, what I have done is, so I went and verified the partner portal website because we are a partner to Palo Alto company that time. And I went to partner portal website and I have seen, is there any newer version of the firewall it is showing. So it is showing as that time it is showing, I think in between 5.6 and 6.7, something like that. So now 5.x to 6.x we have to increase. Sorry, we have to upgrade. Now without contacting the vendor team, so then I contact our client stating that, so vendor is released a new firmware version. So we are planning to upgrade from 5.x to 6.x. Then finally, I sent an email. I got the confirmation. Yes, you can come and you can do it on Saturday. Then I raised a change request by contacting the client and also one of the point of contact from PDO company. So then we went to one on the Saturday, whatever we want to upgrade that particular firewall. We went to the site location where our PDO office is located. Then we took the backup configuration file and finally we're upgrading the firewall. Whatever backup, I mean, 6.x related firmware version, I downloaded and I keep it in my USB drive. So then we went and we imported that configuration and we uploaded that configuration file. Suddenly what it's happening, out of 100% of the total commutation part, only 70% is completed. Remaining 30% is not complete. It's showing as a in progress, in progress, in progress, in progress, in progress. And we took only change window is only 8 hours. Within 8 hours, we have to upgrade the total firewall. So then only 70% is completed overall upgrading of the firewall device, but remaining 30% is not upgrading. Then immediately what I have done, so I contacted even Palo Alto firewall vendor, then Palo Alto firewall vendor, they came online and they said like, without contacting us, so then why did you upgrade the firewall? So whatever version we released to the public, there are a lot of bugs are existing. Already we informed to the in our partner portal website. Maybe you missed out that particular communication or notification, whatever you have sent it. So we got the confirmation and finally we revert it back. So from 6.x to 5.x. So next day, so fortunately within the 8 hours, we completed everything. But next day I have to visit the once again. So office location on site, wherever PDO is located. So in front of 50 members, they scolded me like anything. Why did you upgrade? Why you did not check the precautions? So whenever if you want to upgrade any changes, you can make sure that, so you should be all the conditions or checklist should be there. So but you did not verify all this information. You verified the okay, so upgrade part, but you did not verify the whatever software you downloaded from the website. So see, they are scolded means it's not like in rude or aggressive way, but in convincing way they scolded me. So stating that please don't do it once again. Whenever if you want to do upgrade, so please try to check all the conditions, then you can come back and you can do it. So that is the way how the mistakes I have done. As I said several times in the class also, I have done a lot of mistakes. A lot of failures it's happened because of these upgrades or downgrades, not just firewalls, in the EDR, DLP, encryption, product development related, public safety products. So there are so many things. If you are doing mistakes, then only you can learn it. That's okay, fine. One time you do mistake. So that is like a lessons learned for us. Okay. So yeah, coming back, what I want to say here, this one of the example I'm giving, this one of the complicated situation I faced in my career. Not only this one, there are so many. Okay. So now, whenever if you want to do firewall upgrade, you should make sure that, so please try to contact with the vendor. Okay, note I'm giving. Not only this one more condition also. So NAT table, it's for another condition, HP ArcSet SIM tool we are using. HP ArcSet SIM tool we are using. And so NATing is missed out. Root table, I mean, not root table, ARP table. ARP table in the firewall side, it is not doing automatic way. It is making issues. Then we are upgrading the HPARC set SIM tool from 4.x to 5.x that time. So unfortunately, we are not able to upgrade the firewall because of the firewall. Because of the firewall, HPARC site we are not able to upgrade. Routing issues are coming. So that problem here not basically from our side, it's a firewall side. But which tool we are upgrading? SIM tool we are upgrading. But where is the issue? Routing side issue. Where the routing side issue is ARP table issue under the ISP router. Under ISP router is not making automatic routing table update. Every time we have to go to manual and we have to remove the ARP table, and once again we have to upgrade the new ARP table. But so maybe we are going out from 96 we are working office and we are going to our home. How can we go and we can continuously we can sit in front of the system and we can make sure that ARP table should be manually we can go and we can update it. It's very complicated scenario. Then finally HPARC side same thing it's happened. HPARC side we did not upgrade. Once again issue that time. Once again we verified and we have done the root cause analysis. It is not from the HPARC side SIM tool upgrade. It is because of the our so Palo Alto, I mean that time we are using Palo Alto firewall upgrade issues. So this is the way another issue once again for me. So these are all the issues. It's okay, fine. And one more site has a web application firewall issue. So these are all the lot of issues. Okay, but anyways, all those challenges you are facing in life, then only you will become succeed. Yeah. Anyways, that is different story. Why I'm giving these practical conditions and scenarios? It's not highlighting of myself. So this is to make sure that everybody will not succeed one day. So you have to do hard work. You have to do mistakes. You have to learn from that mistakes. Okay. So note here, whenever if you are doing firewall upgrade, please make sure that contact vendor to know about is there any bugs or issues or problems newly released firmware version. So in bracket latest. So then you can call or maybe you can you can send an email to the vendor. Then vendor, he will confirm within fraction of the, okay, so I mean 1 day or 2 days or fraction of hours also. Then according to his confirmation. So once they will confirm, then you can go and you can speak with your client. Then you can make it as a change request. Then whatever point of contact is assigning to you, then you can go and you can make a risks and assumptions and also dependencies and who is required for testing of the firewall once we are upgrading to the newer version of the firmware successfully completed. Whether all the applications are working fine, all the websites are working fine, all the developers and testing tools and machine learning and DevOps team, Windows or Unix or DevOps, everybody's they are able to access their applications or not. So we have to test, we have to contact, even we have to inform one of the network routing guy for dependency side. So and also one of the application guy also we have to bring it for these firewall upgrade. Total 3 to 4 members are required to do the upgrades. It's not like a single person can do everything because testing we have to do after completing the successful upgrading also. Okay. So because within 8 hours time, we have to complete whatever you are defining the change window. So whether it is 8 hours or 12 hours or 24 hours, that's fine, but you have to complete it. Okay. In case you are not able to complete and you are getting the problems, then you have to revert back to, so that particular, okay, whatever previously configuration. So OS version of firmware version is existing. So now if you want to do the firewall upgrade, then what we have to do? So first and foremost, whatever physical, that time we are okay, physical related, virtual, maybe physical or virtual or software service, anything is fine. Please break up the connection between these two. Remove this connection. Break up the connection between primary and secondary firewall. If you don't break up this high availability condition, okay, so then both the firewalls will upgrade at the same time. First, we have to break up the connection. So that may be physical RJ45 or Ethernet cable, or maybe, so that is virtual interface configuration you are configuring. That may be SaaS based tool you are configuring as interface. You have to remove that connection in between primary and secondary. So one time also what happened is, without breaking the connection, I upgraded one firewall. Both the firewalls are upgraded simultaneously. Alarms has come like a long, because once the upgrade is completed, reboot it will take some time. Maybe that will take maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute. Couple of times will take 5 minutes also, because commit has to complete. Changes has to complete. So that both the firewalls upgraded simultaneously, parallelly. So then what happened? Alarms has continuously it is coming, because in the Navi customer, that one Navi customer who is working in the, okay, so those applications are not working continuously. They are calling to the our security team and stating that whatever application we are trying to access, it is not working because of these firewall breakdown issues. That is one another issue I faced. So that's what I'm saying. So there are a lot of issues I faced. It's okay. So now what is the first condition we have to do? Please break down the connection in between primary firewall and secondary firewall. Okay, now here example I'm giving upgrading of firewall from upgrading Palo Alto firewall, any firewall. Just I'm giving example is Palo Alto 9.x to 10.x. So current version of the firewall in our office located, it's situated or deployed. Firmware version is 9.x and we are upgrading to 10.x. So now in between both primary and secondary firewall, we have to break up the connection. Then either whatever you like. Secondary firewall, you can make it like a primary firewall, or primary firewall, you can continue that one and you can upgrade the secondary firewall. Anything is fine. Upgrade the secondary firewall from 9.x to 10.x. And making primary firewall as a primary. Okay. So upgrade the secondary firewall. So whatever, so first we are disconnected this one. Now this one is 9.x. Now this one primary can keep it as it is. There is no need to touch that one. It will work as a continuing our business operation. There is no availability issues will come. What is secondary firewall? It is showing as 9.x. This one upgrade to 10.x. So you can monitor 24 hours. 24 hours. This one primary firewall, it will act as a single firewall only. There is no high availability. Maybe you can ask now, why can't we upgrade both the firewalls at the same day? No, because we have to test that one. Maybe all the functions or features, everything is working fine or not. Couple of times because of the testing related issues, vendor without following the SDLC life cycle, software development life cycle for product development side also, without testing, without developing, without designing properly, they will release to the public. That time issues will happen. So that is the reason you have to monitor 24 hours at least. Couple of customers, they will monitor 20, maybe 48 hours also, to make sure that all the pieces are working fine or not. Maybe you can ask now question, till that time, maybe only one primary firewall, it is there in part of our production environment. Same time security incident is got compromised. Then how we can handle it? We have to take risk. There is no other choice or option. Otherwise, we have to make one more Stephanie firewall. We have to purchase and we have to keep it like a, so for whenever upgrade is required, but each and every firewall cost is very high. Why we have to go and we have to keep another firewall? So only for upgrade purpose, we have to go and we have to keep it like a, so whenever it is required, we can go and we can do on demand situation side. Okay. So those scenarios we have to make it and we have to make sure that risk should be accepted. So there is no choice. Otherwise, if you have the money and you are a critical customer, so ask them to provide a discount related pricing and you can purchase one more firewall with 50% discount, and you can keep that one. So whenever upgrading the firewall, you can make this one also same configuration, and these two firewall you can connect it. Now these two firewalls will act as a active. So this is the way how this process will work. Okay. So that is also one of the, when I went to Cisco interview, so in the third round of the interview, same question they asked. So one of the web application firewall related to Cisco. So you want to upgrade web application firewall from X to Y. In that scenario, you are upgrading the firewall. So you are upgrading the web application firewall. Now, so whatever primary firewall alone it is there, standalone. But same time, so then attacker is bypassed primary firewall, whatever it acting as a primary. Then how can you make sure that security instance should not get compromised? Then what we have to do? We have to provide alternative, okay, additional one more firewall. Okay. So then we have to keep that one as a separately. Whenever it is required, we can go on to, we can use that one, and we can make it like only upgrade side. We can make these two as a primary and backup till this firewall is upgraded. Then these two firewalls upgrade successfully, then connect it back to primary and backup, or primary and secondary. So this is the way how we have to give the answer. Okay, now, so you are upgrading the secondary firewall and keeping primary firewall same as it is. And next one, test all the applications, databases, and also users information, users, performance related issues, performance, CPU, then RAM, bandwidth utilization. So security posture of the firewall also we have to verify. All these verifications we have to do within the 24 hours or 48 hours. Okay. Test and monitor. Test and monitor 24 hours. Upgraded firewall. Of all the applications, databases, users, performance, everything we have to monitor. Now you are feeling everything is fine. Okay. All these performance and CPU, control plane, data plane, management plane, applications, databases, everything is working well and good. Then what we have to do? Then this one you can make it as a primary and upgrade the primary firewall. So then the secondary firewall, make it as a primary firewall and upgrade primary firewall from 9.x to 10.x and connect it back to high availability. Okay. So this is the way how overall upgrades we have to do firewall side. Okay. So when you, and the note I'm keeping here, if you want to make any production changes irrespective of the firewall, that is applicable to not only our security environment, entire overall IT environment. Change request and change management process is mandatory. Change management process is a must. Process is must. First, we have to raise a ticket in the ticketing tool, and we have to fill up the template related to change request. Then we have to approve with our manager, approve with our director, that is called CAB director, change advisory board director, CAB director. Then in case you are supporting for customer or client, even you have to take the approval from the customer and client also. Otherwise, it's very, in case maybe CAB director is feeling like, so whatever template you filled and whatever change management window, maybe in the peaks of the season or maybe time, he will not accept it. So same thing happened when I was working in Cognizant as a contract employee. So I raised one of the EDR tool upgrade. So then I presented in the CAB meeting. So that time, my cab director. So in that cab meeting, so many people participate. Multiple people will participate. So then finally, whatever request I presented to the cab director, he did not accept it. Then I asked the reason. You did not fill all the template proper way. I'm not sure. So whether you are able to complete this particular task, because I have to work remotely that time. And so that time I think, yeah, 2018 or 17, something like that. So, and I have to support for European client. So then he did not get the confidence on me, and he said like, okay, so you can post to next week. You can postpone to next week. You can complete all the configuration template properly. Then you can present in good way. Then only I can accept it. So that's the feedback he given. And next week, whatever mistakes I have done, I went and I verified properly and I filled correct way. And finally, he approved it. So this is the way. Sometimes even cab director also will not accept it because of the peaks of the meeting or peaks of the topic, and maybe that is very maybe that is non-holiday season. Everything is depends. Okay, so this is okay. Coming back to here, change management process is very important. You have to follow the change management process and change request and taking the approval, and finally we have to go and you have to implement the change. So that is our overall firewall upgrade. Same concept is applicable to all security tools, irrespective of the any upgrades. That may be SIM tool, that may be EDR, DLP, encryption, file integrity monitoring, web application firewall, or cloud-based tool, or SCST tool, DAST tools. Any tool you are using, upgrade is same concept. In one of the interview, I think he mentioned in the cybersecurity SOC operation L2 role, and his experience is only 7 plus. That is one of the Mumbai-based bank, but bank name I'm not sure. So, but for even L2 role, they expected, do you know how to upgrade the firewall? Did you participate anytime SIM tool upgrade? Okay. So if you are saying yes, then only they will think like, okay, so they will, you can crack the internet. Otherwise you will not crack the internet. So you have to sit in the client location and you have to participate at least. See, 100% they will not give, okay, so everything on your shoulder. They will also participate in that one. But as a technical guy, you should provide subject matter expert what we should do, what are the prerequisites for upgrading part, and how to take the backup configuration file, everything you can make sure that you can provide the advice as a consultant. So then, so because two people will be there, maybe they can discuss and finally they'll upgrade the same tool. It's not like only one person can do everything. First of all, even client also will not accept that one. Okay. So this is the way how the entities will be. So next one is VPN. It's one of the very important topic whenever you are going for firewall vacancy. So it's a virtual private network. So name itself it is suggesting it's a virtual private, not a physical network. So what is this virtual private network? So this virtual private network, it is not a physical network. It's a virtually tunnel will form in between the maybe our remote or our virtual location where the end user is sitting to the our data center, or maybe on-premise location, or maybe one site to another site. So it is a private network in between end user to the office location, or one site to another site through public network or over the internet. So whatever private network it is forming from end user to the our data center or office location or on site, or one site to another site, that private network we can call it as a tunnel. Through that tunnel only data can be transferred. Okay. So now virtual private network here, how we can define this one? It is a private network in between a remote user, remote location or remote user to the remote user to the data center or on-premise location, or else. one site to another site. Via how it is possible? Through public network or over the internet. So one of the virtual connection it will be established. That is a private, not a public network or public data platform. Only through private way, even though we are using our internet. Internet can be accessed anyone. But even though it is going the data or transferring the data or commuting the data between remote or end user sitting in the virtual location to the data center or maybe on-premise location or site to, so that is one condition. Our second condition from one site to another site. So even though there is a public network or internet, so it will form it. Okay, so one of the private network. So site to site, or end user, or virtual location, or remote location to the data center on premise. That is called virtual private network. Now, what are private network it is forming? So that particular private network, how it will form? Through tunnel. Private network it will use data transfer mechanism using tunnel. Tunnel is like a pipe. Through that pipe only data can be transferred. So this tunnel it will provide, this VPN will provide. What are the VPN importance it will provide? VPN it will provide different types of the security related features like confidentiality, even though we're using internet or public network, integrity. So then it will provide reputation, traceability. Reputation means traceability, authenticity, authorization. So these are the 5 parameters it will provide. Confidentiality, because the traffic is traversing only through the tunnel. Integrity, so who is doing what? Any person is updating or downloading those things, he can change or maybe deleting. Reputation, so who has done what? So traceability of something. And authenticity, because end user has to enter his username and password to log into VPN connection. That is called authenticity. And authorization, so our neighbor firewall or VPN server, it will provide whether the end user is located in our organization or not, whether when user is a part of our organization or not. So authorization also it will provide. So these are all the importance of the VPN connection. So confidentiality, integrity, reputation, authenticity, and authorization part. How this is possible? Through asymmetric and symmetric cryptography technology. So SSL TLS certificates can be used even in the our VPN tunnel also. So it is possible via symmetric and asymmetric cryptography algorithms. Okay, so these algorithms it will use. So you know why symmetric cryptography we can use? Symmetric cryptography can be used for key exchange. Sorry, data transfer. Sorry, data transfer. So once the tunnel will form, so it's like IKE phase 2, not IKE phase 2, IKE phase 1. So data can be transferred in between. So the tunnel. So that is for symmetric cryptography. Then where asymmetric cryptography can be used? So in between primary remote or virtual location where the end user is sitting to the our data center or on-premise location or one site to another site. So public key and private keys it will be exchanged using the strongest ciphers. That may be ES256 hashing algorithm or SHA-256 or Diffie-Hellman. Most of the case we can use Diffie-Hellman. So then we can use security negotiations. Okay, so if everything is fine, then only the VPN connection will be established. So this is the way. So how the data can be confidentiality we can provide, integrity we can make sure that, and reputation whenever something is trying to compromise, whether internal user has done the compromise or external attacker has done the compromise. Authenticity, because end user has to log into the VPN, then only, okay, so our authorization can be accepted by the either opposite firewall or maybe our VPN server. Okay. So now how VPN will work. So types of VPN. Types of VPN. There are two different types of VPN. So this one we discussed long back, ports and protocols when we discussed. So I'm not sure whether you remember or not. IPsec VPN. Second one is remote VPN. So sorry, IPsec VPN, remote VPN, both are same only. So IPsec VPN, remote VPN. So second one, site-to-site VPN. So these are the two different types of VPN, and port number we have to open 500. IPsec VPN port number is 500. Okay. So now give me 1 second. Hold on a minute. Sorry guys. So yeah, class has been started, and I want to share one of my experience. When I was developing site-to-site VPN and also site-to-site VPN, especially in the testing environment, directly we can go and we cannot configure the site-to-site VPN in our production environment. There are a lot of issues will come. First, we have to go and we have to create testing environment. We have to test in the two firewalls. From one side, we can go take X location, second firewall, second location, you can take Y location, and you can make sure that connection will be established and site-to-site VPN tunnel should be formed. So unfortunately, I tried 2 days, it's not working. Then I took the help of the vendor and finally it is succeeded. So this is the way how we'll especially in the side-to-side VPN side will face a lot of issues. Remote VPN it's very straightforward only, but side-to-side VPN we will face a lot of issues because of the peer related issues, because of the IP address, and we have to provide the opposite neighbor related IP address. And also even we have to define the Diffie-Hellman algorithms, and also we have to provide cryptography algorithms related to symmetric and asymmetrics, and we have to configure the keys, IKE phase 1 and IKE phase 2. There are so much of information is there to configure these site-to-site VPN. Second experience also I will share. So when I was writing civil services main exams in the science and technology in 2013, so this question only they asked. So this UPSC side also they expected this question 2013 long back. So they asked like, so what is VPN in the mains? What is VPN? How can you configure site-to-site VPN and also remote VPN? So that much advanced way how the UPSC is conducting the exams. Anyway, I want to share that information because even though it's technical, but even they are expecting from the technical things for UPSC side also. That is the way. That's why they mentioned one of the paper is belongs to science and technology under the general knowledge. Okay. So, anyways, let's go and discuss before class has been started. So this is the diagram. This is for remote VPN. First, forget about these two. So this is only for remote VPN. First, I'll explain about remote VPN or IPsec VPN. So at the time of the pandemic or corona situation, most of the people are worked there. Now also a couple of people are doing the remote work. How that is possible? That is possible via through remote VPN. Okay, because we are working in virtual way, virtual environment in our office location, right? So now how this will work? So this is remote user. You are sitting in your home. And this is your office location. Okay, wherever your office, you can think your office, you can imagine your office location also. So before going to the tunnel, this is called tunnel. It is using the public network. What is the definition I provided? So VPN is a private network. So that private network from where and where? it is from our internal user or virtual location or remote location to our office location, wherever our on-site or data center is located. Okay. So, or maybe site-to-site VPN. These are all site-to-site VPN. So site-to-site VPN. So through public network, through public network or internet. Try to understand. There is no need to define the definition same whatever I am giving. You can define your own words also. That's fine. So it's a private network in between our remote location to the office location, data center, or maybe one site to another site through internet or through public network. That is called VPN now. But how the backend process will work, that is completely different. How the backend process will work, how the VPN will work. So if the VPN, if you want to implement, total 3 components are mandatory. First one is VPN client. VPN client is in your system. So your end user system, VPN client. So example, this particular user is using maybe laptop or MacBook or workstation or desktop or mobile. So this user is providing VPN client. We have to install VPN client in his machine, then VPN portal. VPN portal, what is important VPN portal, I'll explain. So then VPN gateway. So these are 3 main components for so remote VPN or IPsec VPN. Now we can go and we can discuss about what is VPN client and VPN portal and also VPN gateway. So how VPN will work? So VPN has 3 components. VPN working, it is depending on three components. First one is VPN client. So what is the important VPN client and where we have to deploy this VPN client? VPN client we have to deploy each and every employee machine or employee asset. So that may be, as I said, either laptop or MacBook or workstation or desktop. So that's called VPN client. VPN client, it's a piece of the software file similar to like our EDR agent, DLP agent, or Nessus agent, or file integrity monitoring agent, or HDS HAPS agent, and so on. VPN client has to deploy in the end user machine. So that is about VPN client. Next one is VPN portal. So VPN portal, where we have to deploy VPN portal, there is no need to deploy. Vendor will maintain this VPN portal all over the worldwide. So all over the worldwide. So we have to configure VPN portal. So in the firewall itself, VPN portal. What vendor will do all over the worldwide, he will maintain the couple of data centers or maybe cloud environment also. So example, I took couple of examples in the North America, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East, Australia, and Africa. So example, in the North America, USA, UK, in the European Union, not European Union, anyway, outside of the European Union, Singapore, Asia Pacific, Australia, Netherlands, Europe, South Africa, Africa, and India, and Dubai, Middle East, and you can take one more, Brazil from South America. So for example, all the continents are covering by our vendor. So these are the places they deployed the VPN gateway. VPN portal, what exactly will provide? List of the gateways or routers information wherever vendor is deployed. So that's called VPN portal. Okay, it will provide a list of the gateways or routers information where the vendor is managing and maintaining. That may be on-premise or cloud environment. Okay. VPN portal, it contains list of the gateways or routers information all over the worldwide. Why we have to maintain all over the worldwide? Because it is easy way to communicate. Otherwise, if it is too much of the distance and long away from our customer to the our main where the gateway is located, maybe jitter and also latency and also consumption and also even traffic, maybe it is very less, and maybe delay will be there to communicate to the for communication purpose. So that is the reason we have to maintain all over the worldwide. These are all the different types of scanner, not only because of that one, even to get the business. to get the business from each and every continent. They have to make sure that they have to deploy these portals or these routers. For example, Fortinet company we have in Bangalore and also even in Dubai, even in the Netherlands, Amsterdam, even in the Brazil, everywhere they deployed. In the similar way, Palo Alto or Sophos or WatchGuard or CyberRow and so on to make sure that so they have to satisfy each and every customer needs. So finally, VPN gateway. So now whenever end user is connecting, so end user is sitting here, he is logging to by username and password, one OTP it will come. Then he will enter the OTP. Then that connection will go to VPN portal. Then VPN portal, it will show and it will verify where the end user is located, from where he is trying to log in. Then it will, maybe he's sitting in Bangalore, then it will go and it will connect the India router. Maybe in case India router is very busy, then it will go and it will connect to either Dubai or Singapore. Because for Bangalore, it is which country it is very close, either UAE, Dubai, or maybe it is Singapore. Okay, so maybe even Dubai and Singapore also, I mean, uh, it is not able to too much of the traffic. Maybe it will go to Netherlands, Amsterdam, or maybe South Africa, or maybe Brazil. So this is the way how the portal it will give and it will recommend the which VPN gateway end user has to connect. Okay, it will choose the nearest gateway router. So that's called VPN gateway based on the administrative distance using the different types of routing protocols like RIP, OSPF, BGP, IGRP, IGRP. So VPN gateway, it will choose always nearest router. This VPN gateway will act as a bridge between VPN user and end user and also our office location. Okay, now final connection will be established. Now this connection, everything via through internet, now public network. Okay, you are sitting in your home, maybe you are using Act FiberNet or Velocity or maybe Geo and so on. So now you are connecting through your Geo or maybe Velocity or Act FiberNet. That connection will go to VPN portal of the ISP router. So then vendor will choose the nearest gateway router, whatever vendor we are choosing. That may be Porty client or Global Protocol client or Cisco AnyConnect or Zscaler. Okay, whatever client you are using or whatever VPN you are using, sorry, whatever VPN you are using. Okay, then it will choose the nearest gateway router and finally it will connect to the office location. Then in between our end user and also VPN gateway, connection will be established. Authenticity is from the end user side because he is providing the username and password, and also OTP verification also. Authorization from the backend gateway and also backend VPN server or firewall. The connection will be established. So now the one of the tunnel will form in between these two through internet, because you are accessing through internet. Without internet, VPN will not work. Now only through the tunnel you can go and you can access no application wherever your data center is located, wherever your on-premise is located, wherever cloud environment is located or deployed. Okay, so this is the way how VPN will work. So I will repeat how VPN will work. So end user will log into the VPN client by providing the username and password using the multi-factor authentication. Once he is providing authentication, then that connection will go to VPN portal, and VPN portal provide the list of the gateways or routers information. So then the VPN portal will choose the nearest gateway router information. Then the end user connection will go and it will establish nearest gateway router. Then nearest gateway router, it will go and it will connect to our office where it is deployed. And finally, one of the secure connection or tunnel, it will form between end user or remote or virtual location to the our data center on-site or on-premise location through public network or internet. So this is the way how the VPN will work. So this is what you have to explain. Overall description, in-depth analysis. But normal VPN is like a definition side. This is in-depth technical analysis, technical definition, how it will work on the backend process. So in the offline, I will complete how VPN will work. So I will write the whatever we discussed so far now, that entire diagram explanation. And so in the tomorrow class, I'll complete site. I thought to complete site VPN. That's okay, fine. So site to site VPN we can discuss tomorrow here. So it is almost equal, but we have two different phases: IKE phase 1, IKE phase 2, main mode, quick mode, aggressive mode. There are three different types of modes will be there. So that I will discuss in the tomorrow class. Okay. So that's all for today. So as I said, so firewall is like a version, EDR like a version, and also SIM tool is like a version, and cloud security is like a version, except vulnerability management and also DLP, or maybe little bit very less work where it is involved, where the roles and responsibilities. Only these places will remaining. All other places we have to go and we have to configure so much of the information. So as I said, each and every secure domain is like a version. We have to learn too much. So most of you will think like, okay, what is there in this tool? We just one of the alert will come, we can go and we can do the investigation. Our work is completed and our investigations are complete. It's not like that. So every security domain and every solution and every tool and um, every deployment, everything is like it's a very big solution. If you know about everything, then only you will become CISO of the organization. Okay, so you should be aware of the even trending technologies also. And one more thing I want to explain. Now slowly you can